In the last class, you have discussed Fundamental Theorem of Calculus Part 1. Today we are going to discuss Fundamental Theorem of Calculus Part 2. It's a very important theorem in calculus, also known as evaluation theorem, because it states that if we can find an antiderivative for the integrand, then we can evaluate the definite integral by evaluating the antiderivative at the end points of the interval and subtracting. Now, let us see the formal statement of the theorem. If small f is continuous on closed interval ab, then integral a to b small f of x dx equal to capital F of b minus capital F of a, where capital F is any antiderivative of small f, that is capital F dash equal to small f. Now let us prove this theorem. For that, we first define a function g of x as integral a to x f of t dt. By fundamental theorem of calculus part 1, we know that g is an antiderivative of small f. But we have capital F is another antiderivative of small f. You have learned a theorem in section 4.1 which states that if f and g are two different antiderivatives of same function, then they differ by a constant. So here f and g differ by a constant, hence we can express f of x as g of x plus some constant c. Now in order to find c, we put x equal to a in the above equation and we obtain f of a equal to g of a plus c. Now we will substitute for g of a from the definition of g of x and we obtain f of a equal to integral a to a f of t dt plus c, which is equal to 0 plus c, because we know that integral a to a f of t dt equal to 0. Thus we obtained f of a equal to c. Now f of b equal to g of b plus c. We know that g of x equal to integral a to x f of t dt and f of a equal to c. Therefore, we substitute for g of b and c as integral a to b f of t dt plus f of a. And from this equation, we obtain f of b minus f of a equal to integral a to b f of t dt, which is same as integral a to b f of x dx. We just renamed t as x. Hence we obtained integral a to b f of x dx equal to f of b minus f of a. Hence the proof for fundamental theorem of calculus part 2. We often use this notation for f of b minus f of a. If capital F of x plus c is any antiderivative of small f, then by fundamental theorem of calculus we have integral a to b f of x dx equal to capital F of x plus c from a to b, which when simplified becomes same as capital F of x from a to b. That is, we can drop the constant of integration c while we use fundamental theorem of calculus. The fundamental theorem of calculus part 2 states that if we know an antiderivative of the integrand, then we can evaluate the definite integral. Now let us solve a problem using this theorem. We have to evaluate integral 1 to 2 x cube minus 2x square plus 1. Here the integrand is x cube minus 2x square plus 1. We know that integral x power n is x power n plus 1 by n plus 1. That is, we know the antiderivative of x power n. Using this fact, we can solve the above problem. Integral 1 to 2 x cube minus 2x square plus 1 dx equal to, by fundamental theorem of calculus, it is equal to the antiderivative of the integrand, which is x raised to 4 by 4 minus 2 into x cube by 3 plus x from 1 to 2, which when simplified, we get the final answer as 1 by 12. Now try to do these two problems yourself using fundamental theorem of calculus part 2. Both of the integrand present here are known to us and you also know their antiderivatives. So by using fundamental theorem of calculus part 2, you can proceed and solve these two integrals. Now let us solve another problem. Evaluate integral minus 2 to 2 small f of x dx where f of x is defined using two different functions in two different intervals. In the interval minus infinity 0, it is defined as minus x square plus 1, and in the interval 0 infinity, it is defined as x cube plus 1. Now let us solve this problem. Both functions used here to define f of x are polynomials, hence they are continuous on the respective intervals. Thus we can say that f is continuous on closed interval minus 2, 2, which is our interval of integration. Now since the function f of x is defined using two different rules in the intervals minus infinity 0 and 0 infinity, we split our integration accordingly. So we split integral minus 2 to 2 f of x dx as integral minus 2 to 0 f of x dx plus integral 0 to 2 f of x dx. In the first integral, we replace f of x by minus x square plus 1, and in the second integral, we replace f of x by x cube plus 1. Now by simplifying using fundamental theorem of calculus part 2, we obtain the final answer as 16 by 3. Our next topic is evaluating definite integrals using substitution. Fundamental theorem of calculus part 2 states that if we know the antiderivative of the integrand, then we can find the definite integral. But in most of the cases, the antiderivative of the integrand might not be known to us. So in such cases, we will be using the method of substitution in order to evaluate the definite integrals. And I hope you are familiar with this method. You might have learned it while studying integration in your plus 1 plus 2 classes. Let us solve a problem using this method. Evaluate integral 0 to 2 x into root of x square plus 4 dx. Here the integrand is x into root of x square plus 4, whose antiderivative is not well known to us. So we will be using the method of substitution in order to evaluate this integral. Let us solve. We make the substitution u equal to x square plus 4, which makes du equal to 2x dx. Therefore, we can substitute for x dx by 1 by 2 du. Also note that when x equal to 0, u equal to 4. When x equal to 2, u equal to 8. Substituting in the given integral, we obtain integral 0 to 2 x into root of x square plus 4 dx as integral 4 to 8 1 by 2 root u du. While making the substitution, make sure that you change the interval of integration accordingly. Now by using fundamental theorem of calculus part 2, we can proceed. We know the antiderivative of root u, which is u raised to 3 by 2 by 3 by 2, and by simplifying we obtain final answer as 8 by 3 into 2 root 2 minus 1. Now try to solve this integral using the method of substitution. You can make the substitution u equal to cos 2x and proceed. Our next topic is definite integrals of odd and even functions. A function f is said to be even if f of minus x equal to f of x for all x. For example, f of x equal to x square is an even function. And a function f is said to be odd if f of minus x equal to minus f of x for all x. For example, f of x equal to sin x is an odd function. Now we have theorem for integrals of odd and even functions. The statement of the theorem is, suppose that f is continuous on closed interval minus a. If f is even, then integral minus a to a f of x dx equal to 2 into integral 0 to a f of x dx, and if f is odd, then integral minus a to a f of x dx equal to 0. Let us solve this theorem. First we consider integral minus a to a f of x dx, and we split the integral as integral minus a to 0 f of x dx plus integral 0 to a f of x dx. And in the first integral, we will be interchanging the limits of integration, and we obtain minus integral 0 to minus a f of x dx plus the second integral is kept as such, integral 0 to a f of x dx, and we call this equation 1. Now we consider integral 0 to minus a f of x dx, and we make the substitution u equal to minus x only for this integral. And we obtain du equal to minus dx. And when x equal to 0, u equal to 0. When x equal to minus a, u equal to a. And by making the substitution, we get integral 0 to minus a f of x dx equal to integral 0 to a f of minus u into minus du, which is equal to minus integral 0 to a f of minus u du, which is same as minus integral 0 to a f of minus x dx. We just renamed u as x. Now we substitute in the equation 1, and we obtain integral minus a to a f of x dx as minus and minus get cancelled, integral 0 to a f of minus x dx plus integral 0 to a f of x dx, which is equal to integral 0 to a f of minus x plus f of x dx. We have integral minus a to a f of x dx equal to integral 0 to a f of minus x plus f of x dx. Now, according whether f is even or odd, we will be having two different conclusions. They are, the integral minus a to a f of x dx will be equal to integral 0 to a f of x plus f of x dx if f is even. Because when f is even, we can replace f of minus x by f of x. And when f is odd, we can replace f of minus x by minus f of x. Thus, integral minus a to a f of x dx equal to 2 into integral 0 to a f of x dx when f is even, and when f is odd, it is equal to 0. Hence the proof. Now let us solve a problem using above theorem. Evaluate integral minus 1 to 1 x square plus 2 dx. Here f of x equal to x square plus 2. Now we will check whether f is even or odd. F of minus x equal to minus x whole square plus 2, which is equal to x square plus 2, which is same as f of x. Therefore, f is an even function. Now we will be using the above theorem to evaluate the given integral. Integral minus 1 to 1 x square plus 2 dx equal to, by the above theorem, since it is an even function, we can replace the integral by 2 into integral 0 to 1 x square plus 2 dx, and by simplifying we get final answer as 14 by 3. Here is another problem which uses the above theorem. Evaluate integral minus 2 to 2 sin x by root of 1 plus x square dx. Here f of x equal to sin x by root of 1 plus x square, and we check whether f is even or odd. F of minus x equal to sin of minus x divided by root of 1 plus minus x whole square, which is equal to minus f of x. Therefore, f is an odd function. Therefore, by above theorem, the given integral is equal to 0. Our next topic is definite integral as a measure of net change. In real-world applications, we are often interested in the net change of a quantity over a period of time. For example, suppose that P is a function giving population P of t of a city at time t. Then the net change in the population over the period from t equal to a to t equal to b is given by P of b minus P of a. Now if P has a continuous derivative P dash on closed interval AB, then by fundamental theorem of calculus part 2, we have P of B minus P of A equal to integral A to B P dash of t dt. Here P dash of t will be the rate of change of population at any time t. Thus we have the net change formula. The net change in a function f over the interval closed interval AB is given by f of b minus f of a equal to integral a to b f dash of x dx, provided that f dash is continuous on closed interval AB. Now let us solve a problem. A car moves along a straight road with velocity function defined as v of t equal to t square plus t minus 6, where t varies between 0 and 10 and also v is measured feet per second. First we have to find the displacement of the car between t equal to 1 and t equal to 4, and second we have to find the distance covered by the car during this period of time. For solving the first part of the problem, we will be using the net change formula. Now let us solve this problem. First we define function s of t as the position function of car at time t. Then s dash of t equal to the velocity v of t. By fundamental theorem of calculus part 2, or by the net change formula, we have s of b minus s of a equal to integral a to b s dash of t dt, which is equal to integral a to b v of t dt. Now to solve the first part, we have to find the displacement of the car between t equal to 1 and t equal to 4, and it is given by s of 4 minus s of 1, which is equal to integral 1 to 4 v of t dt. We substitute for v of t and finally we obtain the final answer as 10.5. That is, the position of the car at time t equal to 4 is 10.5 feet right to the position of the car when it was at time t equal to 1. Now we have to find the distance travelled by the car between t equal to 1 and t equal to 4. It is given by integral 1 to 4 mod v of t dt. We have v of t equal to t square plus t minus 6, which is equal to t minus 2 into t plus 3. V of t is a polynomial of degree 2. It has exactly two roots, one at 2 and the other at minus 3. Let us plot the graph of v of t. It might look like this. It has exactly two roots, at one at 2 and one at minus 3. Therefore, the graph of v of t touches the horizontal axis exactly at these 2 points. At no other point, the graph of v of t will touch the horizontal axis. Now our interval of integration is closed interval 1, 4, and our integrand is mod v of t dt. Therefore, we want to know whether v of t is of which sign in this interval. Since v of t is 0 at 2, we split the interval as closed interval 1, 2 and closed interval 2, 4. In order to find the sign of v of t in the interval closed interval 1, 2, we can put any value between 1 and 2 for t. For suppose that we put t equal to 1 and find v of 1, we can see that it is negative. Therefore, the sign of v of t is negative in the interval closed interval 1 2, that is the graph of v of t lies below the horizontal axis in the interval 1 2. And similarly we can see that in the interval 2 4, if we find v of 3, it is a positive value. Therefore in the interval 2 4, the graph of v will lie above the horizontal axis. Thus we have v of t less than or equal to 0 on closed interval 1 2 and greater than or equal to 0 on closed interval 2 4. Therefore distance travelled by the car between t equal to 1 and t equal to 4 is given by integral 1 to 4 mod v of t dt. We split the interval of integration as integral 1 to 2 and integral 2 to 4. And in integral 1 to 2, we can replace mod v of t by minus v of t, since v of t is negative in this interval. And in the interval 2 4, we can replace v of t mod v of t by v of t, since v of t is positive in the interval 2 4. Now we substitute for v of t and simplify, and we get final answer as 14 5 by 6 feet. Hope all of you have understood today's class. Thank you.